Hi there! So I've got a few things to talk about today, mostly about purchases and or things that I've been picking up for free recently. Free is always good, purchases are okay. I've been pouring a lot of money into the Forge project, and the Forge project obviously includes not only the Forge, but an anvil, a stand for the anvil, and a quenching tube, and I'm going to have to find oil for the quenching tube as well. I picked up a 6-gallon galvanized steel bucket today at Lowe's. I just got back from Lowe's actually. And so I'll be able to quench some stuff and just drop it into the bucket, and it can sink to the bottom and cool there, and I won't have to worry about it melting through the bottom of the bucket before it cools. Other couple things I got at Lowe's were a pair of welding gloves or welding gauntlets. I'll be wearing these for my forging sessions when I need to pick things up. They're big and cushy and made for welding, which includes some pretty intense heat, so I think they'll probably do nicely. And I also picked up my first hammer, which I shall hopefully be using for forging things in the not too distant future. It's just like a maybe 1.5 pounds mini sledgehammer. Relatively cheap. It's just one of the cheaper hammers I could find. I'm sure. Wait a second. It says 3 on it. This can't be 3 pounds. Maybe it is 3 pounds. I don't know. It seems lighter than 3 pounds. Maybe I'm just getting stronger. Sure. But one of the things, well, 2 of the things that I picked up for free actually recently. Well, a bunch of things I've actually picked up for free. At work mostly. Well, pretty much exclusively at work. The other week, last week or so, I think, I picked up some bar steel. Well, it wasn't really bar steel, but it pretty much was the equivalent. It was some rails that came off of one of the CNC bandsaws. I don't know why they were getting rid of them. Maybe they needed the space for something else, but they were taking up a bit of space, so they were going to throw them in the trash, and I picked them up, along with some big-ass angle irons that I'll be using for something in the near future. Maybe making my own vice press brake. Well, I don't know if that's actually the right term for it, but a tool for bending metal. And a couple weeks ago, some time now actually, we were cleaning out a bunch of stuff in the shop because machines were being moved around, machines were being disposed of and replaced, and boss just decided to throw out a 40-pound block of steel that was like a 4-inch by 4-inch piece of square steel, and it was 9¼ inches long. And at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. I thought, wow, this is kind of a waste, but I didn't know what I would do with it. But then, like, the very next week, or the week after, yeah, like the very next week, I realized I need an anvil, and I started looking around and realizing that enough steel for an anvil was going to be really expensive, and then I remembered that I had just thrown out a big-ass block of steel. I had personally put it in the dumpster. So I went back out to the dumpster and fished it out. Totally worth it. And I have myself, more or less... Oh, fudge, I need to unplug the computer. I have myself an anvil, which is this! That. And we tried hardening it at school. It didn't work very well. It's got these things in it because it was used to hold a piece of metal down to cut it up on one of the mills, but that's not really important. We tried to harden it at school, but it didn't really work, and I'm going to fire up the forge this weekend and try to harden it here at home. And that's one of the reasons I bought that 6-gallon steel bucket, because I'll just be able to drop this thing down in it, and it won't melt whenever this hits the bottom, and still will probably be quite hot. And, yeah, I might have to actually pour in more water as it keeps heating the water up in the bucket. I can't use oil right now, it's just too expensive. But I'll be getting some oil hopefully soon. Some more stuff I got for free was a guy at school gave me some railroad spikes. Some old-ass railroad spikes. So, hopefully I'll be able to forge some knives out of these in the future. Another thing I got for free at work was this piece of 3/4 inch aluminum. 6061 aluminum. So, I'll be using this to make a crossguard on a sword that I'm designing. And then, the final thing that I got just today for free at work was a machine vise that they were throwing out. It doesn't work quite as well as the other machine vices that are regularly in use, but boss just bought a bunch of new machine vices and a bunch of new machines, actually, and new vices for them. And he was getting rid of this old vise. And it actually weighs more than my anvil does. It's over 40... The anvil is 40-point-something pounds. This machine vise has got to be 50 or more. I mean, I'm almost injuring myself in the process of carrying it around all over the place. But here it is! There you go. Big old machine vise. And you tighten it up by turning this thing in the back. I can't really do it with my hand because it's just big, but it's a lagoon or lagoon 6.5 inch vise, which means the jaws are 6.5 inches wide. And this is a very important step in getting tools, because a vise is a very fundamental and very useful tool. A big machine vise like that could, I mean, small machine vise is easily over $100. That thing, just for the steel alone, would be well over 50. Never mind the actual everything that's gone into making it. So yeah, I've roughly saved myself on the steel that I've gotten from work that they don't need anymore. I've gotten several $100s worth of steel for nothing. And I've also talked to my boss and he said that I can buy some of the solid scrap aluminum pieces if I want to at like 50 cents a pound. So if I ever need to make something out of aluminum, I can just buy aluminum from him, which is really cool. I also, the piece of metal on the bed that the machine vise was resting under is a piece of 16 gauge steel that I bought just to have, but I also bought a 2x3 foot piece, which I have over with the rest of my sheet material. Actually, I'll show you my sheet material stuff right now, just because I might as well. Here's all my sheet material, and some not-so sheet material, like these angle irons, which I just recently bought, and those are going to go into building my quenching tube, along with this 2x3 foot piece of 16 gauge mild steel. Then I have some 1/4 inch aluminum here, and a bunch of 1/8 inch aluminum, some 1/4 inch oak, more 1/8 inch aluminum, more 1/8 inch aluminum foam core, a piece of 1 inch thick oak, and then I also have a piece of 1 inch mild steel round stock that I just recently ordered. That came with the angle irons and the 2x3 foot piece of steel, and some more 1/4 inch brass rod. If you're wondering about the Captain America shield over there, that's not actually mine. That's from a friend who wants me to fix it up for him, but he hasn't actually talked to me about a price I'm going to be charging him, so I haven't done any work on it yet. I've had it for a good week or so now. Oh, I feel certain there was something else that I wanted to say. Oh, yes, there was something else. As you saw when I was talking about the piece of 1/4 inch aluminum, you might have noticed that there was a piece cut out of it. And I did that at school in the past 2 days. Let me see. I have the rest of it here. Oh, ow. Okay. So, there was a piece cut out of that aluminum, and I cut that piece out with the bandsaw yesterday, and today I milled out some stuff on one of the mills. I actually had to do quite a bit of work to get it back in working order. But I basically did some initial cuts on a hilt for a sword that I'm working on. I'm not actually going to show you the piece of steel that I'm using to make the sword, but you'll see that in time. This is a sword for me, it's not a secret project or anything, but I just want to show it to you when I'm all done. Oh fudge, I sliced myself open. Dang. Oh well. Life goes on. But, yes, I have much to work on. Hopefully I'll be firing up the forge again this weekend. I just bought a new bag of charcoal, so I have like 2.5 bags of charcoal, but I have to fire the forge and let the anvil soak basically in the heat and soak up carbon from the charcoal, because then whenever I quench it, it'll be able to harden. If there's not enough carbon in the steel when it is quenched, it won't harden properly, which I think is the problem that we faced at school when we tried to harden it unsuccessfully. But yeah, tomorrow I should be firing up the forge for a few hours and hopefully soaking the anvil for such a time. So I'll be doing that, and I've got various other things to work on. I'm involved in a film that a friend of mine is directing and wrote, so I'll be doing some filming for that tomorrow and over the next few weeks/months. And yes, progress is being made. I'm sorry I haven't had any updates on nerfy type stuff recently. I've been very caught up in all my metal work. I have Titan tank over here still that I haven't done anything with. I'm thinking of building a Titan rifle 2.0 at some point. It'll be an improvement of the first Titan rifle that I made, which was pretty good, but certainly could use some improvements. But we'll see about that later. Yeah. But yeah, I'm working on a couple projects. Still haven't made much headway with this recently, the sacks, because I need to be able to heat treat it. That's really the next step, and then, well, I could do a little bit more sharpening on it, bevel grinding right now. Yeah, I should probably do that. I could grind down the bevel on this a little more before I heat treat it. But after I heat treat that, I'll be able to slap a hilt on it. I'll make it out of probably that 1/4-inch oak, I think. And yeah, brain's not really working very well today. Have a great day, everyone.